Welcome to Mercy's Designs. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. Today I'm going to do something a little different and show my craft room. Now, my father lived with us for about 2 years and we put in an in-law suite, and after he moved out, I moved in. I started setting up my craft room, and after a number of years I've sort of perfected it a little bit, but it still has a long way to go. On here, this wall, I added these shelves. I built them sort of myself by getting supplies at Home Depot. And of course, this is the Stampin' Storage by Stampin' Up! And this is how I've arranged mine. I like to put things back in place. And one of the things I was struggling with was remembering the order I kind of did it. And because I kind of did it with shades instead of alphabetical, with the exception of the in colors, I was having trouble remembering. So I used my classic label punch and made these labels. So here you can see this is where pool party will go. And I covered it, each one, and then shaded spruce, so that I covered it with packaging tape, so it just kind of creates a nice little layer there to slide over, and it's been working pretty well. So I have my reinkers on the top, and these are actually going to be part of my swap. I'm going to Onstage local for the very first time in Lansing tomorrow, and I'm so excited, cannot wait. So I wanted to do this video of my craft room to kind of commemorate that, and just to also show you a little bit of the swap style I will be doing. So this is an organizer for dishes, pans, and so on. And what I've done here is I use it for my stamparatus to store my extra additional plates that are in use. So if I pull out this is a plate that I'm using 12 Christmas, and I also keep along the template that I've created to use for it. So that works pretty well. Then over here I wanted to talk about my paper storage. I added this in early October, and it is I bought it off Amazon. It's called Styrodoc, I believe, and it's based out of Switzerland. So these are repositionable, and I think these mail slot things work pretty well for me. I kind of doubled up. Each slot has 2 types of paper, although one of mine has triple. And when I was trying to figure out the order here, I kind of created a little template here, and then that would help me organize it better. So that worked pretty well. And then on this wall, we have what used to be for the pantry and the printer. So I'll go ahead, open this up and explain a little bit here. It's sort of a bit of a mess, so this is more of the paper organization. And here I have all of my purples and warm colors, yellows, etc. So whereas the other one I had mostly blues and the white and neutrals. So here's another one of my little templates that I created to figure it out. So here are my punches. I have in these storage containers that I got at Aldi's. So they work pretty well. I mean, it's not as cool as what you see some people have, but it does the job, and they were quite inexpensive. They were like $5 a piece, so that works. And then on this shelf I have some projects and some containers, retired ribbon, and different objects. And in the back I have some of my finished cards. So, and this bin down here is, of course, everything's retired. These are my old wood mount stamps that I haven't given up because some of them I'm quite attached to. And then these containers I use when I'm making classes. I put one project per container, and that keeps me organized until the class. So that is that drawer. And then drawer, cupboard. Over here is a little bit of a chaos. I have retired products, I have stuff for my classes, and it's just sort of a crazy thing. I have all retired stamp sets in there that I either haven't sold or do not want to sell because, again, some attachment issues. These are my, I don't know, to display my card, what I'm going to do. Here, I'll just show one. It's one of these acetate, no, it's not acetate, but it's the heavy plastic that you can display paper in. So that's what my storage system, one of them came in. And then here, this was my old system. I used to have put all my Stampin' Up! Cardstock in here, and now this is just paper that's not Stamping Up that I keep because I like to make templates and different things like that, or I'm practicing to make a new fancy fold, etc. So I have more card storage there and here and various objects. So the this area here is usually, this counter here is where I do embossing with that outlet. I keep my embossing powder over here, and I can keep this mat just so that it makes cleanup a little bit easier. And it is nice and handy to have a sink. Here is where I do all my paper trimming and cutting. I love my old Stampin' Up! Trimmer with the guillotine style. This one I do plan to replace with the new one. I'm excited to do that. So the main spot where most of the crafting happens is right here on the island, and I have a Tim Holtz mat here. Well, it's the tempered glass, and I really do like it. It's not perfect in some respects because it is quite hard, but it's easy to clean up, and I love the grid, so it's definitely a keeper in my opinion. Here's where I have one of my Stamparatuses. I have two of them, and I like having it at the end here. I always keep an extra case, so when you're opening the lid, you can, it can be supported. There's my chamois, which is very stained because it's well loved. And I keep usually 4 to 5 of these drawer organizers with my blocks. Now, most of the time, they're pretty loaded up with stamps, but I am having less right now because I want to get ready for whatever new sets I get from the Occasions catalog. So I'm ready to start stamping as soon as I get back from Lansing, Michigan for the local Onstage. All right, so the last thing, I'll just scan here one more time. You can see my wonderful shelves, my collection. There are 2 more things I wanted to show. One was I wanted to show a little bit about my swaps. This card I'm displaying because I got it from Jill Olson, and she just had it on computer paper, but I added that. I matted it because I love matting. And this is going to be a little tricky. These are all of my swaps that I have for the local Onstage in Lansing. So in here are the trading cards. I have those ready to go. And here I have one is kind of a class to go. One woman made an extra, and this is a swap. And then here is my 3D item. I made these adorable little chapstick or Burt's Bees little holders, which I think are really cute. So I'm hoping people will enjoy that swap. So that is that swap. I'm just trying to protect things so I have it all covered. Okay, set that aside. I have this, I hate to almost get this out, but here is where I have my container, which I have Mercy's Designs on the front and my phone number in case I misplace this. I have a little bit what I printed off from about the Onstage. So I wrote down what blocks I needed, etc. And then I loaded this up with my stuff. Hopefully I won't lose anything. And then here is part of my create a class swap. And I had to make 5 of these. So I'm hoping that people will really get something out of it. This is my Color Me Amazed class. I put a lot of effort into creating that, so that, you know, instructions so people can, and then deep down in here is my other swap. This is for, this is not an organized swap. I'm hoping to swap with people at the end. It's also a 3D item. I'll just go ahead and open this up. This is a cheap container and I was worried it would come apart, but the ribbon really isn't necessary. So here is what I called my satchel for both. You can hold a tea bag, gift card, and then inside, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a Ghirardelli in it. So super cute. I hope that is popular and people enjoy that. And then I have what I call a miscellaneous cards and tags to trade with people. And then at the bottom here, oh, I don't want to get this out, but I guess I'll put it all back after I do this video. Okay, so this is my fancy fold, part of my fancy fold swap. And this is an old paper pumpkin. Okay, that card is there because I was thinking, I don't know what. All right, so here is my card. Now I could close this up, but one of them I want to put on the bulletin for Stampin' Up. So this is a fancy fold and I have full instructions. So this is a trifold. I did a video on this, so if you want to take a look. Sorry, this is not going so well. I'm probably making everyone crazy here. But when you open this one up, it's hard to do one-handed. It's very cool. So you open it up and then it turns, and if you have put it this way, here, this is distracting. If you put it this way, you can write your message right there, and it looks really cool because you also see the front display. So it's a twisted trifold fancy fold, and that will be my swap for the fancy fold class. Okay, so now, big mess, but I'll put that all back. It is amazing how much I got in there, I think. And, oh yeah, and this is my Tailored Expressions brushes that I got from my husband for our anniversary. So very cool. All right, the last thing I want to show is the area where I typically film my tutorials. So we're stepping into the living room portion here, and this is where I film. On this table that I've lined with paper, what is it called? My mind's drawing a blank. But anyhow, I got it off Amazon. So I just sit in this chair and do my crafts. I have an extra table if I need space. That's where I have my camera, I have lights. I have this dome light. That adds a lot of light to my area. So, and then this is where my teenage children play their pool games. So that is where I do the filming. And again, one last look at the craft room. I really enjoyed this spot. I hope you enjoyed watching this little show and tell of my craft room, and I will be uploading videos hopefully very soon of Lansing Onstage. So stay tuned for that, and please consider subscribing. If you have any questions, email me at mewants3@gmail.com. And happy stamping!